Good morning. I bet you guys didn't think I was going to come back. Okay, looking at my trading plan, I typed up something so that I could see it better. My memory as I get older is not as good as I would like it to be. So let's see if I can find it here. Okay. My trading plan, I start off, I select call and put strike prices at the money at 32. And remember, at the money is the first purple bar. And then you just simply go across from that to get the puts. So it's the same strike, but on both sides. Okay, now the next thing that's going to happen is if there is a buy signal at 9:30, I wait for AO confirmation. That's awesome oscillator confirmation. That's this right here. The awesome oscillator just tells about the momentum, the rise and fall of momentum, and you just want to avoid buying on a red bar because the momentum is headed downward that way, and you don't want to go downward. You want to go upward. Okay, so let's take a look. See if I don't see a buy signal at 9:30. Okay. It's not yet 9:36. And plus we have the red bar with the awesome oscillator. So right now we're just waiting for a buy signal. And it's very important that I trade only after a buy signal with a green candle. Okay, so a couple of times I have not followed this plan, and I have traded when there was not a buy signal, and it's always resulted in a negative consequence. So having this on here makes me follow this. Okay, it's now 9:36, so I start looking for a trade, and I also want to check the support and resistance line. So let's take a moment and do that. Right now I'm using support and resistance. If you go into the I don't know what this thing is called, the analysis tools, I guess. This one is called SUPPRES, SUPPRES. And that's been very helpful for me. And so we look here, and it's touching down on this yellow line and headed upward. Okay, for the support resistance over on puts, it seems to have touched this resistance line. It started to come back down. Here we have in the awesome oscillator, we've got a green bar and one green dot on trend meter. So we're just waiting to have a buy signal. This one over here, we'll probably wait for a pullback. So the next time a buy signal appears, but I would not buy at this one because first of all, it is 9:36, but we just don't have the awesome oscillator is not where it's supposed to be. So we're just going to have to sit and wait. Sometimes I might put music on while we sit and wait, and that's just to kind of keep us from being bored, I guess. So let's look back here just to stay focused. So I just can't stress enough how important it is to follow a plan. And if it doesn't meet the requirements of the plan, you just sit on your hands if you have to. Do whatever you have to to keep from making a mistake. Good morning, Justin Chavez. Good to see you. Okay, some might say that there is a case of FOMO going on over here, fear of missing out. This one has jumped all the way up, it's pierced this overnight high, which if we look back and see, it's not going to show me. Okay. But the overnight high was around, let's see, 25.76. And it hit 26.30 and came back down. So this might be a case where the overnight high is it's a resistance line and it's going to bounce back down. So if that's the case, we'll just wait for the pullback and another buy signal. So this is a really simple way to trade. There's nothing difficult about it. Anybody can do it. And if you want independence in your life and want to be free from bills and free from worries and stress, to me, this is an easy way to go about it. Okay, I'm sitting on my hands now because I'm seeing that huge green bar on calls. And I'm just having to tell myself that it is going to go up, probably hit that blue dotted line, which is the overnight high, and probably come back down again. And it looks to me like this might bounce off this beige support line. I also look at, other than Thinkorswim, which is what I'm in now, I also look at TradingView. I think their charts are easy to look at. And so let me go see if I can pull that up for everybody. I'm trying something new, so bear with me here. Okay, there it is. It did come up like I wanted. I didn't have to drag it over. Okay. So here we have a buy signal, which I have UT bot alerts in in TradingView. And if you try to bring over my screen, I have in the comments a link that you can bring it over, look exactly like mine. It will not bring over UT bot alerts because that's not a part of Thinkorswim. So what you have to do is go into something called ThinkScript, which Thinkorswim puts out this website that has a lot of different scripts from different places, like TradingView. And I have a video in my channel that will take you step by step on how to follow that to get the UT bot alerts in Thinkorswim. So here we do have a buy alert the same time that we had one over here. This is the Fourier Smooth Volume Zone Oscillator. That's a mouthful. But basically, it's just a volume zone oscillator. It kind of tells where the volume is at and where it's headed. When we see a green circle, that's usually a good entry point. Now here it's at 9:30, but I don't trade at 9:30 because it's just the market is too crazy. So I'm just going to wait on this one a little bit, take a look. I've also got in this trend lines. That's what these dotted lines and solid lines are, trend lines. And the break is when you see a B. That's not a buy, that's a break. And that just means it went through that trend line. Okay, so now I'm going to take us back to the Thinkorswim chart. Okay, Justin, you're letting me know that at 10, there is a large catalyst that can move the market aggressively. Thank you, Justin, for that heads up, and I'll be watching for that. And I have an alarm that goes off on my my platform at 10 o'clock. I usually set alarms for 9:32, which is when I set my call and puts, 9:36 when I start looking for trades, and then at 10. So those three I have that just alert me to these things. So while we're waiting for something to happen, I'm going to put some more music on. If anybody has any questions, please feel free to type them in, and I will definitely address them. And if I don't know the answer, I'll try to point you in the right direction. Oh, okay. I just got a buy on the puts and a sell on calls. Okay. And if we look at this buy signal, I'll go to the music in a minute. There's a red candle. And I don't buy on red candles. I buy on green candles. And that's part of, once again, the trading rules is trade only after a buy signal with a green candle. So this is not a green candle. However, right after it is. Okay, but I'm thinking I maybe should wait until 10 to see what happens, but this is following all of my parameters here. I've checked this. This is green bar and awesome. Trend meter, 2 green dots. So I'm going to take a stab at this one. And 5,000 is what I'm allotting to spend. This is 17. So I'm going to get 2 contracts. Here I set I set my limit for 25% above. My stop is 25% below. So I'm going to go ahead and buy this. Okay, and here is my stop and my sell limit. Okay, if I go up, I always like to check because I have a goal of today of 1,000. So I'm going to bump this up just a little bit. Okay, and it's got to go through this green line and the red line. And so we're going to see if this has enough juice to send it through those lines, those resistance lines. I usually get rid of the position summary because it doesn't do me any good trading options. Okay. The candle has now gone red and it looks like it's a kind of a combination of a doji and a spinning top. Okay, now we're a green candle again. Okay, the next candle that happens, I'm very interested to see what that's going to show. And that's going to be in 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, it's come out above the real body of the previous candle. The real body is the solid green part, and the wick is, of course, the lines. Some people call them upper shadows. Okay, so because it came out above, that's a bullish sort of thing to do. So one thing about my live streams is you're not going to hear me talk very complicated language, because I want to try to reach as many people as possible with this trading plan and with this system that I have, because I think it's a really good system. And it's taken 4 years for me to refine it, and I've been trading over 20 years. And 4 years ago, Sean Deckmar, who is a trading guru, got me hooked onto options. And so I started studying it and realizing that you could make some big, huge money with options and not use as much capital. For example, my premium today, let me see what it price was, $17.60. Let me put that in. Let me show you real quick my profit calculator. I'm putting $17.60 here. This is a proposed one. I have an actual one that really happened. So the proposed, actually we need the actual. 17.60, and I got 2 contracts. Now I forgot what I was going to do. This is awful getting older. Give me just a second here. Okay, the premium, that's what I was going to say, for this trade is $3,520. Now in options, if you lose at the end of the day, because this is 0 DTE, that's what you lose, is that $3,520. Whereas if you're trading stocks, you can lose a whole lot more than that. So that's what I like about options as well. And $3,520 to make 1,000, that's really awesome returns. And 1,000 here would be 28%, a little bit above 25. So, roughly between 25, 30, that's where I'm shooting for. So let me put this back. Okay, our next candle's coming in about 2 minutes. It's very important to be available and to watch as the new candles form. And I even had for a little while, a little timer, and it told me when 5 minutes was and it would go off. So it's important to just be watching the screen now, to be kind of like a sniper, if you will, because you're just watching. You're waiting for movement, waiting to see what's happening, waiting to see what's going on after, each 5 minutes. And the 5-minute candle is my favorite. Okay, it says sell puts. Okay, now it's either going to go down and get stopped out, or this is just like a little brief downward, and now it says buy calls. Okay, so I'm just waiting to see what this one's going to do. We also got a red bar on the awesome oscillator, so I don't like that candle looks like a combination spinning top / doji. Dojis have the long wicks, and spinning top is kind of what this looks like, so it's like a combination of those two. So right now I'm in puts. My calls are on the left side and my puts are on the right side. And if you look up here, you can see exactly which put I have. 69.35. 69.35 with calls. Okay, so I have a red candle now. So I'm following my plan no matter what. That is true. The market is very wicky today. Yesterday it was very wicky too. There were long wicks all over the place yesterday, and it looked like it was trading in a consolidating fashion. So I just stayed out of it yesterday. I just was watching movies. Okay, the awesome oscillator, when it comes up and then it goes back down, normally at this point here where the pencil is on calls, it would continue to go down. But in this way, it came back to green and is going back up. To me, that tells me that that's a bullish thing to do. So just waiting. Got another, went back to a green bar on awesome oscillator. And I look at these, excuse me. I look at these indicators, the awesome oscillator and the trend meter, as confirmation. Everybody always says you need to have confirmation. So when I get a buy signal with a green candle, then I automatically look down and see what's happening down below. And if it's not what I want, then I just keep waiting. Because you eventually will hit your mark. You just have to be patient and wait for it. And have faith. Faith is such an important thing in trading. Because you have this plan and you know it works and you know that it makes money and you know that it's right. And so having that faith in that will carry you through and give you patience. We're about 3 minutes away from that 10 o'clock time frame that Justin was saying that there was a catalyst that's going to move the market. So I'm interested to see what happens. If something does move the market down, or excuse me, back up, because puts is the opposite of calls. So puts, I'm betting that it's going to go down. So if all of a sudden the market shifts, I've got that stop that will keep me from going and crashing and burning. So that's one thing I love about Thinkorswim is you have the capability of setting the two of these orders at the same time. And it's a one cancels the other type of order, OCO. And people have asked, how did I find out about that? If you click on single on your templates, it has single, OCO, which is one cancels the other, TRG with bracket, and TRG with 2 brackets, and TRG with 3 brackets. Not quite sure what TRG means. I can look that up, but that's how I found out about it. I just took it and I personalized it, and I made it where I wanted 25%, and there's a percent sign to go above, and 25% below. So I guess you would call that a one-on-one. But when I did it at 12.5%, which is half of 25, I always got stopped out. And I just got tired of getting stopped out. So this gives me a better opportunity to stay in the trade. Let me go over here and see if I can figure out what TRG means. Just that's a 10 o'clock. Okay, so waiting to see what's going to happen. Just got to buy in calls. However, there's a red bar, but we've got 3 green. Now, if I had $1 bazillion in my account, I would come over here and trade this one too, but I don't like trading two opposing options at the same time. Okay, and I believe TRG simply stands for triggers. So one triggers the other. So TRG is that's something that's being triggered. So one triggers the other thing to happen. Okay, I want to look over. Okay, to me, it looks like right now in Trading View, I'll show you this. Looks like it's going sideways. I call that like a crab crawl because it's just not doing anything. And if something goes sideways in the market, there's usually a consolidation happening, and you're not going to really make any money. Because you make money when it goes up, and you can make money when it's going down. But sideways, nothing's really happening. So just kind of waiting. It looks like this one might get stopped out. Yep, it did. Okay, so sold out at 12.80. That was a loss of $960. So let me put that there. Oops. So having that safety net there was very helpful because it got as low as 1083. So if I didn't have the stop there, if I was just, trading and selling when it started tanking, I could have lost 1,354. So that's a matter of $400 there. So it can go against you really quick if you don't have something in place to catch. This one is just going way down. I see what you mean now. Okay, Justin, I want to go almost on the news and find out what's happening here. CNBC, we are live from the Nasdaq. Usually I will keep the CNBC on my screen so I can see it at all times. It's saying buy puts now. Okay. Let me look at my message up here. Okay. I don't know whether to give this one another chance or not, just because of the way the market is. I'm kind of wondering, Justin, what was that catalyst? Because I just got the news on, so I can't quite tell what's going on, what's happening. Okay, no SCOTUS decision today. Okay. Labor market outlook weakens. Okay. Okay, and this is one that got stopped out that probably could have continued to go up. I'm going to get 2 contracts. And I'm going to move this over a little bit. Okay, and this one's just seems to be flying up. Because I lost 900, I want to try to get that back. And because the market is really going wild, I'm going to try for, oh, this is hard to decide, maybe 1200. This is going to be a major resistance, this yellow line. So we're going to kind of see what happens with that. If it goes through it and continues to go up, I can move my limit. But for right now, I'm going to keep it at, let me see what I ended up with, 1200. And so with 1200, that'll still give me a couple of $100. So many times it's easy to chase stocks. And when you chase, all you do is lose money. Because it's like in a football team, this analogy just came to mind. Football team, when one fumbles the ball, the other one tries to get it, then another one tries to get it, then another one tries to get it. And they just keep kicking it down like the field. So that's kind of like what happens when you're chasing a stock, is it just keeps on getting away from you. But I'm only trading when I have buy signals. And the buy signals are from UT bot alerts. And I'm going to put that at the top because I think that's important for people to know that that's the key factor in this, is the UT bot alerts. That's what makes this trading plan very special. And you really don't have to think when you have something like that, so it enables you to do other things. And usually when I get a buy signal, it rings like a phone. And so if I'm a few feet away, I just run to the screen. So it lets you do other things. The fact that then the calls, it's just dropped so fierce like that, makes me think that it's going to keep dropping. Okay, something to note here. On this Fourier volume zone oscillator, when this red bar comes down and hits the green, the light green, it's reaching an, okay, I always get these confused, an oversold condition. And so that would be a time to exit when it hits that. Okay, did I just get stopped out again? I sure did. Well, that's it for me today then. The market is crazy. And let me figure out what that amount was. And it's saying buy calls. So this is just a very strange market today. Okay, that particular one, let me see. Lost 1,040. So I'll put it up here. Okay, so 1,040, 960. Okay, it was a loss today, excuse me, of 2,000. Let's see, I'm going to put this down here so it's away from that. Okay, let's get back to here. Thinkorswim. Okay, so basically what I did was figure my amounts that I lost today, which was a total of 2,000. And you're not going to win every time. That's just not going to happen. And if you think you are, then you're mistaken. I've started to rethink my total goal for the day, and I think that making it 1,000, it's a little too lofty. And so I might bump that down to like 500 and see where I go on it. And if you can tell, we got the buy signal. Everything was all the planets were lining up, so to speak. Had the buy signal, green candle, awesome oscillator green, and trend meter green. So even with all these things happening here, it can still tank. And so I think a good thing was, Justin, that when there is going to be some kind of news or whatever, and you know there is, just to stay away. Because it doesn't do any good, because you're sort of fighting against the current. So that's why maybe I should have as another part of my trading plan. I should add when there is a catalyst, beware. I do have the Bollinger Bands over here on calls. I just put those on there. Generally, when you have the candle touch the bottom Bollinger Band line, the bottom band, should say, and it pulls away, that's a sign that it's going to reverse. Let's look at the Bollinger Band over on puts and see what that looks like. Okay. Okay, here it touched it and then came back down, but it touched this line now, so it's just doing some strange things. Let me let you look at my settings that I have for the UT bottle lots. The key value, and they've misspelled value, but the key value is 1, and the ATR period, which stands for average true range period, is 10. Signals from Hikanashi candles, I say no because I have Hikanashi candles already on my chart, so I don't need that to say yes. I've experimented around though and tried it with yes, and it just changes things a little bit. Let's see. The only thing that it seems to have changed is the buy signal that was here at 9:45 is now gone. And that seems to be the only thing. Let me look at another one. Okay, so if I put the signals from Hikanashi candles, if I say no, and price color, I have the price color on it, no, I can't really figure that one out too much, but it does change the way things look. So let's put that on yes and see what happens. And for 4 years, I've been doing nothing but this, trying oscillators, indicators, trying all kinds of different settings. I think I've tried just about every combination of everything there is to try. And I'm still tweaking as I go along. So here we had the buy signal, and it was green. And if I would have bought there, I could have maybe here made a profit. Let's see, it was 1740. Let me see what this is. 1528. So that could have made it. So sometimes I'll make a change and I'll realize, I need to go back to how I used to have it. So let's look again. This is what it should say. 1, 10. Then no, yes, yes, yes. And then I've enabled the alerts. And for the message, I say buy puts, sell puts. Okay, I want to come over here to the calls. I've got 1, 10, no, yes, and this should be yes. Price color on. Okay, and when I get something the way I like it, and look at this one, this one's just going way up, but because there are red bars here, I would have not bought at this point. I hope everybody sees that and knows that. So you might, have a case of FOMO going on, the fear of missing out, because you go, oh my goodness, look at it, it's going way up. But you can't do that. You have to wait for a green bar on the awesome oscillator, because that shows that it's changing, it's shifting. So this one's not up, this chart today, it's not operating the way they usually operate. Usually when you have a buy signal, the bar and awesome oscillator is also green, and then it just flies up. But I don't want to take a chance on something that has a lot of red down here at the bottom. Okay, and I just want to make sure I have the right settings. Okay. And when I get something the way I like it, I will come over here to where you see these little 4 boxes, and I will save it. This particular one is called, and actually some people laughed, but I actually had a screen set up that was called "This Really Works," and that was kind of a subliminal thing to When I saw that, I look up there a lot, and that would reinforce that the fact that this does work. But this particular one is 0DTE SPX setup. And if you go into the description, it says to duplicate my screen, and I give 8 steps to go through to be able to copy my screen. And the only difference being the UT bot alerts are not going to come over, and you have to go in and get them from Thinkorswim. And so that's what this is all about. That the calls are still going up, so FOMO alert, FOMO, 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 FOMO. So we've clearly gone through this the green resistance line. We're plowing through it. We're getting ready to go to the gray one. And we've got a green bar here, finally. Okay, so I'm going to this is paper trading, so I'm going to practice, and I'm going to get 2 of these contracts, and because this is moving so bullish, I'm going to keep it at 1120. Now, I'm pretty sure this looks like that it's just going to plow through this and hit my target. All the planets are lining up. We had the buy signal, green candle. We now have this green bar on Awesome Oscillator and 3 green dots on Trend Meter. So everything was lining up the way that it was supposed to. And so now we're just going to kind of see what happens. Pulte on President Trump's proposal to ban Wall Street from buying more single-family homes. Okay, I'm sure that's why the market is crazy today. Okay, on this call trade, we're now up $440. And it looks like is going to hit the 500 mark. Yep, it's at 620. 2640 would, and it's gone past that, 2660. This one looks like it's really going up fast. I'm going to do something bold here. I'm going to bring this thing up to 2020. I feel certain because it has gone through the resistance. Now, here's one thing. When you go through the resistance, which in this case, it's the blue dotted line, that's the overnight high. When it goes through it like this, the next candle determines what's going to happen. It's either going to come down or it's going to continue to go up. So we have about another minute before that next candle. Right now we're up 800. So as far as that $500 goal, that would have been easily met. And what you can do is every time there's a buy signal, if you buy and set it to sell at $500 above the price, when you do that a couple of times, you've got a nice little chunk of money. Here at 10:10, this buy signal, while I wanted to wait for the green bar on Awesome Oscillator, I maybe left some money on the table by waiting, but it's better to be safe than sorry. So when you have a set of rules, you've got to follow them. And will there be losses? Yes, there will, but that's just the way it goes in stock trading or options trading. I was having some trouble with my microphone last week. That's why I didn't trade. I think I fixed the problem, but let me know if you don't hear me well or if there's any kind of a rumbling sound or anything, because it's hard for me to tell until after the live stream, and then when I listen back on the live stream, then I can tell, but I can't tell right now. So I hope my mic is working okay. Okay, we got to that second candle. It did come down, and the real body, which is the solid color, that's kind of like right there at the resistance line. So I want to see it go. I want to see that real body shoot up some more. And I don't know if anybody notices, but the cursor lines, I don't know if that's the right way to say it, but they're the same in both. So if it's 10:30 over on this side, 10:30 that side, the line shows up in both places. And I found out how to do that, and I want to show everybody. If you go in and do the gear shift up here, and you say synchronize crosshairs position, and check that box, it will make it so that they sync up with each other. And having the crosshairs at the same time frame, it makes it easy to see things and follow along. So this was a critical thing that I noticed a few years ago. That's helped me a lot. So paper trading loss of 2,000. The real body has, while I was talking, has snuck up above that dotted blue line, overnight high. So that's a bullish thing. So I see this one is continuing to go up. We've gone down in the Awesome Oscillator. I'm coming back up. I don't like to see this big gap here though, but that's because of this great move we had. But now the next thing to happen is to cross the zero line, the awesome oscillator, and then to continue to go up. So that's just, we're just waiting on that right now. Good thing about paper trading is you can try a lot of different techniques and you can practice, and it really lets you hone down on your trading plan and get it just exactly like you want it. Okay, and this next candle, it's a little bit above. I said that if it was above this resistance line, it was going to keep continuing to go up. And I believe that. And also, we have the awesome oscillator. It's come up and done like I said. So it should now continue to go up in this direction. I want to see if my little Epic pen, I don't know if anybody else has had problems, but I have this thing called an Epic pen. And this is the icon. Right here, it looks like a little ink pen. When I click on the pencil to draw, it's supposed to turn into a pencil so I can draw, but it doesn't do that every time. So I'm not exactly sure what's going on. A lot of times they say, you know, if you try restarting, that takes care of problems. So I'm going to do that later today and see if that will help. But that's been, the Epic pen has been really nice for me to draw on the chart and show things. It's better for me when I use a pen to draw because it stays there until I delete it, and it reminds me what's going on. Okay, so we're hovering right now at that resistance line. We're waiting to see what's going to happen. Next candle is like in about 2-3 minutes. Zero DTE SPX options are, they've gotten a bad rap, I think. A lot of people think that they're scary, that it goes up and down too fast, and it's just it's whiplashy and things like that. But I don't think so. I mean, I don't see anything on this calls. I don't see anything that's whiplashy about that. It's continually to go up, and the only thing about zero DTE is it's 0 days till expiration. So you've got to be out of the trade by the end of the day, because that's when it expires. And SPX options make more money than SPY options. Why, I'm not too sure, but I just know that they are more successful as far as getting big trades. Okay, I'm looking also for a wick to touch this upper band, because when that happens, I'm looking to sell at that point or get ready to sell. I'm transparent in the losses that I show. This loss for today is 2,000. What I do is every time that I have a loss, is in my trading journal, I will write down what it was that I did wrong. If I have a winning trade, I just leave that alone. I don't do anything with it. But a loss, I physically have to write down what it was that I did wrong. Sometimes, like in the case of today, I did everything I was supposed to do. This was a red candle instead of a green candle, but I changed some, let me show that. I put price color on as no earlier today. And when I did that, well, let me show. Okay, when it said no, do you see how this was a buy signal, but it was a red candle? And so I don't trade on a red candle. I wait for it to go green. So here's when I got in, and then it just kind of went up a little bit, but then came crashing down. So I decided to go in, and I'm always tweaking these alerts just to see what's the best one. Price color on, I'm going to say yes. Watch what happens. That candle is green. So if I would have traded there, probably would have met my goal. So in my trading journal, it would say something to the effect of, the UT-bot alert price color on was set to no. Something like that. Because that'll let me know then at that particular point what I did as far as changing an indicator. Anytime I change an indicator, I always note that so that I can look back and see what happened. Okay, while I've been talking, we've got this sell signal, a big red candle coming down. Probably going to get stopped out of that one. So I was greedy. And this is what happens when you get greedy. Okay? This high of 28.50. Let me take a look here. 222. Give me just a minute. Okay, so if I would have gone with $1,000 profit, which would have been $27.40, I should say $27.50. That is 1,020. So $27.50. It went up to $28.50. So I would have made that profit, but I said no. Let's take it up and see, see if it's going to hit 2,020. Okay, and this might be one of those things where it pulls back and it continues to head up. The very fact that we have higher highs and lower highs, that lets me know that it might continue to go up. But up, we're stopped out. Okay. I have something that tells me what the higher highs and lower lows and all that are. Let me get that on the screen and I'll show everyone. Okay, this is called an HH and LL scalper. It's in TradingView. And if we notice here, we had a lower high, lower low. Probably up here, it's going to say it's a higher high and then lower high. So this kind of can get you a gauge on, or higher low, I should say, a higher and higher low. This kind of shows you these labels for this. It took me a little while when I first started trading, to understand this, concept of the higher low, higher high, lower low. And so when you see it in front of you and it has the labels there, you can see it much better. They also draw a line across to let you see the levels. So that's another thing you can go in TradingView if you've got that. And they do have it free where you can go in and get it with just a couple of indicators. And if you want more than, I think, like 3 indicators, 3 or 4, then you have to pay a monthly fee. But you do get a couple of indicators free. Over here we have the buy signal on puts. So this is just doing that thing where it's and then it disappeared. I've had this happen this week a lot, where I get a buy signal and then it goes away. Comes back, goes away, comes back, goes away. And the only thing I can think of is that it's just the market is volatile right now, and that's why that's happening. Looks like we might have on the calls here a bounce on the overnight low. If this real body of this candle goes beyond that overnight low, then I would look toward puts. So kind of everything happens. I trade one candle at a time. It's like you've heard of live one day at a time. Trade one candle at a time. And I've been talking and I got away from my main screen. So let me back up and see if I can remember what I said. Okay. This has come up, hit this overnight high resistance, pop back down. Here we have the overnight low, and we're looking to see on the next candle whether it's going to bounce and go back up or if it's going to go through that. Here on the puts, it went down to this overnight low and it just kept dropping. And so to me, that's a bearish thing to do. And on puts, which is the right side of the screen, we've got a green bar on the awesome oscillator, but then the trend meter is still red. So it's like everything has to agree with each other. And if it doesn't all agree, or if we don't have at least 2 out of the 3 balls green, then I just don't do anything with it. If you just joined me, the UT bot alerts is the indicator that I use to find out my entries and exits. Although I use support resistance lines a lot for the exits to figure out. I placed this morning 2 trades. They were both puts. They both got stopped out. I'm okay with that because of the fact that I had a plan and I stuck to it and I didn't deviate. And so I'm happy about that. So you might say, well, why are you happy losing $2,000 even though it's just imaginary? It's paper money. I treat it like real loss. And I'm happy about it because it could be a whole lot worse than that. It could be 6,000. But it's not. So, yes, 2,000 is a lot to lose, but it's just a whole lot better than hoping something will come back. And, how many times have you gotten into something and you didn't have a stop and it went down and you said, oh, it's going to come back. I know it will. I just have to be patient. It'll come back. Yeah, sure, it will. No, it doesn't. So, for me, I'm going to come back to this, having this trading plan. I set the sell limit for 25% above the purchase price, and then I traded only after a buy signal with a green candle. So I followed all of these parts of my trading plan. So for that, I get a star. Oh, that's a terrible star. Let me try that again. Here we go. That's much better. So that's my doggy. I have a little Morkie, which is a Maltese and a Yorkie, and his name is Jack. And Jack is very small. He's about 7-8 pounds. Little dog. But he's got a bark the size of a big dog. So you would hear it and think he was a big dog. But here's my trading plan. Get a star because I executed the trading plan. Lost money, yes, but that's okay because we can make that up. This is just a crazy trading day, I think. The news I'm looking at right now says futures steady ahead of jobs report. Let me look at Yahoo Finance. Yahoo Finance is one I like to look at. Okay, the headline for that is U.S. economy adds 50,000 jobs in December, capping week 2025. So that was what caused this. In calls, it's what caused calls to just zoom up to the fast like that, was that jobs. Because that's a positive thing to add that many jobs. So a lot of times news will change things. Typically, I just have the news on in the background. I don't have the sound on when I'm trading. I don't have CNBC, the sound playing. I just have the picture. And I look at the screen occasionally to see what the headlines are saying. But I don't put too much into it. I'm strictly a chart person. I really like the charts, and I think they say a lot. So even though I lost paper money today, 2,000, it's a win for me because I followed my trading plan. And I'm going to try something here. Since I'm just experimenting today. I'm going to try to get 5 contracts. And I'm just going to buy it outright. And I'm going to set it for 550 to stop. Because those 500s add up. If you have, every time you have a buy signal, if you get $500, because that's a small move to make, I think, then those add up after a while at the end of the day. So 500 could turn into 1,000, which could turn into 1,500, and then 2,000, and so forth. So, those little trades can just add up so quick. I've been playing around with ChatGPT, just because this AI thing, it's really fascinating to me. And let's see. Let me show you on this screen what I did. Okay. I asked the question, because you always start off with a question for ChatGPT. Can someone make 1,000 a day trading 0DTE SPX options? The short answer is yes. 1,000 a day is achievable for some traders with 0DTE SPX options, but it's not easy, not stable day to day, and not appropriate for small accounts. And it says, yes, you can do it if you have a sufficient account size and you've defined risk strategies and so forth, all this stuff that's doesn't just jibber jabber. So it's showing what account size is realistically required. Okay, to make 800 to 1,500, you'd have to, it's saying to have 150K to 300K. Well, that's not the case. I'm just trading with 5,000. Now, I do have more than that in my account, but that just doesn't go with what I'm doing. Here it's saying trade premium, not direction. Iron flies. I don't even know what an iron fly is. I barely know what a regular fly is, much less an iron fly. Iron condors. I think a condor is a bird. Credit spreads. I don't know anything about this. This is all just, difficult for me to understand. Directional scalping works occasionally, not long term. Well, I'm trying this every day, and scalping to me, it would be the $500. Some people may think scalping is like $100, whatever. For me, scalping is like around $500. Maximum risk, it's talking about the loss per day, all these kind of things. A realistic week, what it might look like. And what usually goes wrong in these kind of trades, 0DTE punishes impatience. So you just have to wait it out. And if you don't, then that's when you lose money. So here's our bottom line. Yes, 1,000 a day trading 0TE options is possible for experienced, disciplined traders with 150K to 300K and over accounts. No, it is not reliable income, not daily, and not realistic for small accounts. That's where I think it's wrong. If you want, I can, and they always offer another thing that you can look at. So basically what ChatGPT is saying is, no, it's not a reliable thing to do every day. And I'm trying to say that, yes, I think it is reliable based on buy and sell signals. And looking at charts and having a trading plan that you follow. So it can then become a reliable thing. Okay, now I didn't set a stop and we're down 1650. All right, let me change this back. So this tells you where we are, where the gray bar is what the price is. So right now the price is negative 1600. Now, even though we have a green candle in puts, so one thing that you can think of is, as long as that candle is green, it's kind of like an insurance policy. It has the possibility that it could reverse and go up. But when the candle becomes red, then it's changing directions. Okay. Negative 1900. Okay, we do have the red candle there that says sell puts. Okay. I'm going to leave my screen on. I'm going to step away for a bit. And I want to see if it hits that $500 mark on puts. Now, one thing you should never do when you have a live trade, a real trade, this is a paper trade, but one thing you should never do is to step away. I've stepped away, gone and got a drink, come back, and it was down $4,000. So when you don't have a stop, you can't step away. But because this is a paper trade, I'm going to see what happens. So this one went against me. And it's just continuing to go down. And if we look at calls, right here at the overnight low, it did bounce off that like I thought it was going to do. Well, I'm back, and I think that's going to be it for me today because I've got some errands I've got to run. So I'm glad that those who joined me, I'm glad you came in and saw everything. As you can see, the potential for profit today in calls was amazing. I like to look at it as in the 22.40 that I got in. Let's see here. It is now at 34, and it's probably going to rise even more than that. But that would have been a 52% profit of $2,320 if I would have just stayed in this trade and not gotten out here, but my stop was hit. So okay, so that's it for me today, and I've enjoyed it. I hope you're learning things. It's all, this whole trading thing is all in a learning curve, and especially options. I'm trying to simplify the options process so that you really don't have to think about much when you place a trade. It's just automatic. And every day I learn. Today's lesson was when I bought this candle originally here at 9:45. I waited, and I had two green balls on the trend meter, and when I got the third one, when there were three, that's when I placed the trade. And looking at this trade started really way back in pre-market with this buy signal. So when it got up to 9:30, it already was stale. So fresh and stale are two words I look at a lot when trading too, because you want to get into something fresh. And here it came up, down, retreated. So it could not go past this green resistance. The whole way along, it couldn't go past it. So you want to hit something when it's fresh. Otherwise, you're not going to get the full impact. Certainly over here at calls, this buy signal at 10:15 was fresh, and it's just continued to go up and make the higher highs and higher lows. Jack. Hey, baby. Okay, well, my puppy wants me to play with him. So that means I gotta go. So, goodbye, everyone.